All right, welcome back. Bear down, and away we go. I did not intend to make this video come out tonight. It's actually one of the ones I started working on last week, and then many of you know I went to Arlington to watch the Cubs get their butts handed to them and to look horrible. But got back and enjoying Easter, and of course, Twitter's the most toxic place to be right now. But this guy had an argument with him on there that you can't reason with people who don't understand football. You just can't discuss things with them and have it make any kind of logical sense. Because just look at his post there. This guy, he's pointing me out. This guy just said adjusted completion percentage is the highest metric of quarterback success and accuracy. Well, he's making fun of me for it. Purdy is top 3. Purdy was the best quarterback in the NFL this last year, guys. And Dak Prescott's on that list too, and he was number 2. And if you don't understand football, you think Purdy's just a quarterback system quarterback, a team system quarterback. Brock Purdy is the most elite of elite quarterbacks right now. Take that to the bank and absolutely quote me on it, because Brock Purdy plays a special kind of football that's not just dink and dunk. He was by far the most accurate quarterback at deep balls as well in the NFL. All right, so the basis of this video is what makes a team successful, what really takes them to the next level into the NFL. And this starts from the whole concept I gave months and months and months ago. Before the Justin Fields decision was ever decided, I proposed this, and it kind of went a little out there, but Caleb Williams was not worth giving up Marvin Harrison Jr., Tyler Nubin, and now since then we've picked up a safety, so obviously that one's not happening, but I do believe Tyler Nubin truly is a generational safety in this class. Cole Kmet at 67. Now his draft stock has dropped a little bit while Ben Simmons has come up. I still love Cade Stover. And then a next year's first-round pick in a stacked defensive end class. So that was the basis of it. It was always, is Caleb Williams worth giving up the haul? Because we can get a haul for trading down from 1. Well, I want to take this and I want to analyze the teams that were in the playoffs this last year. Because a lot of people don't really have a true understanding of what takes a team to success. And I've pointed it out several times. The Packers had team success. The Texans had team success. Because so many people were pointing out, well, look what C.J. Stroud did. The Bears can do that. I'm not disagreeing, because the Bears absolutely should make the playoffs this year. Whether we take Caleb Williams or Drake May or Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, or even Michael Penix Jr., we should absolutely be making the playoffs because of the changes the team has done and because of where we're going. But we're still not deep. That's the biggest problem with this team. We're not deep. We have surface level strengths. We don't have depth. So let's look at the quarterbacks on these teams that went to the playoffs last year. Now, just starting from left to right, top left, Ravens, Lamar Jackson, if you see that there, this is where the quarterback was selected and which quarterback in that draft they were taken. So Lamar Jackson was picked 32nd overall in the first round. He was the 5th quarterback in his draft class. Josh Allen, 7th pick overall, 3rd in his draft class. Pat Mahomes, 10th, 2nd in his draft class. C.J. Stroud, 2nd overall, 2nd in his draft class. Joe Flacco, 18th, 2nd in his draft class. Tua, 2nd. Mason Rudolph, 6th. Brock Purdy, 9th. As we know, he was the last quarterback taken in his draft class. Dak Prescott, 4th round, 37th of that round, 8th overall quarterback. Jared Goff. These highlighted ones are the ones that were taken 1st overall, and notice if you see anything in common with each of them. Now, the Bears are in a different situation. I'm going to repeat it over again, because the Bears weren't the worst team in the league. The Panthers were, and the Bears benefited from awesome trade from last year. Ryan Poles, thank you. Panthers, thank you. Lovie Smith, thank you. So much good happened because of that. Now, the Bears are in a unique position. And this is why if we do take Caleb Williams, it's going to be okay, guys. It's going to be okay. But I'm not just going to roll over and be a lemming and jump on the Caleb Williams hype train and be a fanboy because we're most likely taking him. That doesn't mean I have to like the concept and what choices we're making. Just because we're fans doesn't mean we have to love what the team does. I'm still going to root for the Chicago Bears. I'm still going to hope he's Rookie of the Year. I'm still going to hope we go to the Super Bowl. Like, that's what we do as fans. But I'm not just a lemming. I don't just take these takes and take what's happening and say, okay, fine. I love him. He's my favorite player ever. I'm going to go buy Caleb Williams jersey on day one. He's new. He's my new favorite player in the team, in the league, period. Bar none. Love it. All right, Jared Goff won one in his class. Baker Mayfield won one in his class. Matthew Stafford won one in his class. None of those three were picked by the teams they're on. They're on their different teams, different contracts, different situations, different than where they came into the league. It did not work out with them in their initial scenario. And it rarely does with 1-1 overall. The team has so much more to build than just that one player. But you take the quarterback because he's the most important position, right? Well, let's keep going. Jalen Hurts, second round, 21st of that round, 5th overall quarterback in that class. Jordan Love, 4th quarterback in that class, 26th overall. And as we know, he sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. Had a great year last year as far as the team went. Well, let's look at that. Here's Jordan Love on the right-hand side. This is what I was showing on Twitter, guys. The highest metric for how accurate, I didn't say successful, accurate, that leads to success, accuracy will lead to success in the NFL is an overall adjusted completion percentage. An adjusted completion percentage is a completion percentage that takes away the things that aren't the quarterback's fault. So how well did this quarterback play? How well did he do? And this goes from worst in the league, well, 12th worst to 12th worst in the league. This is just the beginning of it. And I'll show you here in a minute when I show Brock Purdy's, the best ones in the league. And you're going to see a significant difference. And there's something that needs to be taken into consideration. That's the line's pass blocking efficiency. Will Levis had the 32nd worst line pass blocking efficiency in the league. That's why I think they're not giving up on him. And he was a rookie. There were some positives to take from there, and the team is still rebuilding. They're going to rebuild around him. That's what teams typically do. They get a quarterback, they rebuild around them. Sometimes they recycle, they regurgitate like the Bears did with Justin Fields, and the Bears are in a significantly better situation to bring a rookie quarterback in to take that to the next level. Most teams don't have the opportunity the Bears have right now. But look on the left. This is the players that Jordan Love had to work with. He had the 26th best, the 39th, the 41st, and the 59th best wide receivers in the league. Bull Melton didn't qualify, but when he did get some shots at the end of the year, he was freaking elite. I don't count him because he didn't play enough, but look at that 83.4 PFF grade. So he had, right off the bat, if you just count the four of the top 60. There's 32 teams, and he had 4 of the top 60. Think about those numbers. And then he had Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft as tight ends. Look at all those 60 and above grades that Jordan Love had. If you watch Jordan Love's games, he was consistently overthrowing and underthrowing receivers, tight ends by 5-10 yards. He had a 17+% poor pass rating, one of the worst in the league. It was bad. Doesn't mean Jordan Love can't improve. He can. It was his first year under center. And now he has one of the best offensive lines, 10th. Look at that, 10th on line pass blocking efficiency. It's bad when players are on the overall adjusted completion percentage worst list and they have one of the best lines. Does not look good for Aiden O'Connell. Does not look good for Desmond Ridder. Doesn't look good for Jordan Love. Doesn't look good for C.J. Stroud. It's just the way it is. Doesn't mean those guys can't improve. Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud have potential. They've shown it. They put up the stat lines. They put up the stats, which is not the most important thing, but it does come into play. If they have these good of receivers, these good of weapons, let's look at, here we go, C.J. Stroud. Look at that, 15th in Tank Dell, 3rd in Nico Collins, 42nd in Noah Brown, 14th best tight end. Look at all those above 60s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Brevin Jordan still did very well for a tight end as well. So, and he had a bad adjusted completion percentage and a good line with pass blocking efficiency. Doesn't mean C.J. Stroud is horrible, but it was his team that took him to the next level. The team goes to the playoffs. The team wins. And if you just so happen to have a quarterback that ends up being on the highest end of these things, that's when you see the team plus the elite quarterback take you to a Super Bowl. Look at the guys on this list, the most accurate quarterbacks in adjusted completion percentage. Kirk Cousins. Those of you saying Kirk Cousins isn't a quality quarterback, get out of here. If he didn't get injured, the Vikings were contenders 100%. Kirk Cousins is elite. Russell Wilson is out on the Broncos because he didn't get along with Sean Payton, not because he's a horrible quarterback. The team was struggling. Russell Wilson wasn't playing that piss poor. Now, he did make some big mistakes, and I agree there's reason to, but he's not out because he's a horrible quarterback. He's out because he didn't get along with Sean Payton. And that became cancer and toxic, and you can't have that in the locker room more than anything. You cannot have that cancer exist and be able to have the team become a team function, which is why the team is the most important of team football. I don't know how else to drive this in. Brock Purdy here. He didn't have the best offensive line. They do have a good line, but they did not play that way this year. He still had the third best overall adjusted completion percentage, right there with Pat Mahomes and Jared Goff. I mean, it was minusculely different between those three guys. Brock Purdy is not a bad quarterback. Those of you saying that Brock Purdy is not a good quarterback, GTFO. I'm not kidding you. Brock Purdy is good. I would take Brock Purdy on the Bears today. I would give up Caleb Williams for Brock Purdy. 100%. You don't have to agree with me. Just like everything on this channel, you don't have to agree with me. But there's his weapons he had as well. All right, so let's look at the Bears last year. Here's the Bears, and we've shown this. This is the one that got taken by Clay Harbor and went on Football Night in America, and it was adjusted, and it looked much prettier on theirs. But here's the players the Bears had. All right, there's DJ Moore with 89.3. There's Cole Kmet with 73.7. But you show me what tools the Bears had last year. That's significantly different than those other teams. Now, I'm not saying we had to keep Justin Fields. The point of this was that the haul was more important with a player that was ascending every year. I don't think Justin Fields is a top 10 quarterback yet, but he was making those moves. He's gone. That decision's made. I'm over it. You guys are the ones that keep bringing it up, the haters on Twitter. You keep bringing it up because you think we're stuck on Justin Fields. It was the concept. Now look at what we have this year. Gerald Everett, Cole Kmet alone with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. That's 4 weapons. Double what we had last year as far as weapons. And now we go into the draft, which is why I wanted to keep the quarterback and continue to build the team. Okay, and then we could pick Marvin Harrison Jr. We can get another wide receiver later, a Xavier Legette. We can get Cade Stover with the 100th pick overall. Those were things we could do to have 7 legitimate weapons around a player who was mid at adjusted completion percentage, but was improving every year. But that was the point. And now our offensive line is not stacked. Our offensive line is still just mid. We have decent starters, just like we did last year. But what was the problem last year? Well, Tevin Jenkins was out for a little bit. Nate Davis missed some family time for a little bit. There were injuries in different places. Now, the center position, regardless of what you think, is not significantly upgraded. It is upgraded, not significantly. We have a quality, serviceable starting center now. I'm still hoping, if you watch my last videos before I went on vacation for a little bit, I'm still hoping that somehow Connor Williams gets very healthy very quick and is able to sign with the Bears midseason. We can have him for the next 3 or 4 years with a contract that we structure that way. I would love that. That would significantly improve this team. And then to have Coleman Shelton as a backup for the rest of this year. Ryan Bates is a good guard center, better than Ja'Tyre Carter, better than Cody Whitehair, better than Lucas Patrick. So we're definitely upgrading. But Matt Pryor is not an answer for a swing tackle. He's serviceable. He's better than Larry Borum. 100%. Everyone's better than Larry Borum, but we don't have depth. We can use another tackle to replace Braxton Jones and make him the swing tackle. Now, Braxton Jones is good enough for us to make the playoffs, but I'm talking if we want to go on Super Bowl runs, we need elite. We need elite. We need that starting center that's elite. I was really excited for Jackson Powers Johnson. That's why I'm talking about this haul. And when we look back at the quarterbacks and where they went, it's not just about the best quarterback in the class. It's about having the best team and putting a really good quarterback into a really good situation. So I looked at this year's class, and I showed you guys this. And look at the bottom right. This is where they rank when you compare them to each other statistically. Between all their stuff, their release speed, their short passing, medium passing, long passing, NFL passer rating, adjusted completion percentage, time to throw, time turnover-worthy plays, PFF grade, elusiveness grade. Jaden Daniels was 1, Bo Nix is 2, Drake May is 3, J.J. McCarthy 4, Caleb Williams 5. Now, I even say Caleb Williams is my third quarterback on my list. I see it right now as Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, and J.J. McCarthy was 4th. Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, then Drake May. That's how I see it. And the difference is when you bring tape into it. Now, I get it. Everyone hands down sees Caleb Williams as the best tape. I see him as the best potential. I do. I see him as the highest ceiling. But why are we only talking about ceiling? Why aren't we looking at right in the middle there, which one could be the best potential for us long term, saying where's the lowest floor, where's the best ceiling? Well, the lowest floor to me is if we still do the trade down. This is absolutely possible. The Bears could trade with the Commanders if there's 2 teams to tango. There's the unknown factor we're not talking about. Maybe Washington sees all these red flags in Caleb Williams and they don't want him. They don't want to give that haul. They don't want to give that giant haul that we talk about to come up and get him. Maybe every other team sees the same thing, and then we're stuck with him. Caleb Williams could be Pat Mahomes. He could be Mitch Trubisky. We've gone through videos like that. He could be absolutely excellent, but to me, the safe route is if we can pull off a haul and still get the third best quarterback in this class, or even stop after the first trade down. Look at all the ones that were the second best quarterback in their class. Pat Mahomes, C.J. Stroud, Joe Flacco, Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, the 9th best, Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott. I'm not saying we drop all the way. Stop at 2nd or 3rd overall pick and take one of these quarterbacks that you really think is a game changer. But build the team concept. The problem is, I think there's so much emphasis that the Bears are good enough right now that we're overlooking what we could be if we trade down. If we trade down, just like I talked about, you're giving up Caleb Williams, but you're getting Drake May, or you're getting J.J. McCarthy, or you're getting Jaden Daniels, depending on how the other... This isn't a scumbag draft class. Guys, I don't think a lot of people realize Bryce Young was graded higher by most analysts than Caleb Williams until the hype train came. They're forcing the hype on Caleb Williams because they're wanting a generational quarterback because we haven't had one. So many people are acting like Caleb Williams is the best quarterback to come out since Andrew Luck. And that's not true. He wasn't even graded higher than Trevor Lawrence. He's barely graded higher than Justin Fields. But the hype train has made that even higher. But if you can trade down those 2 times and get Drake May, get Darius Robinson, get Xavier Legette, and this is set aside our own picks. Say we still get Rome Odunze at 9, and say we still have our 75th and our own 122nd. These are all just the picks from trading down from 1. Getting 1-3, 234, 236, 240, 3-100, and 2 futures. And I just put where these guys might rank if we end up with a later half first-round pick, getting one of the top defensive ends in Landon Jackson from Arkansas, and getting in the middle of the second-round pick of the defensive back from Colorado, Deion Sanders' bloodline in the safety. There's so much more potential by trading out. I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, am pulling for that somehow to happen on trade day, to trade down from 1 to 2 at minimum. That's what I'm pulling for. That is, I'm not changing from that. I want it. I'm not jumping on the Caleb Williams hype train just because it looks like he's clearly 95% going to be the number 1 overall pick. And I say 95% because I just don't give anything absolutes. It looks like he's the pick at number 1. That's where we are. Does that mean that's what I want? No, because I see the value in this. I've seen it over and over again. I see where teams build up and trade and then build up around how much more valuable that is. CJ Stroud came into such good a situation because of all the trades and moves that the Texans had made, specifically in fleecing the Browns. If they hadn't fleeced the Browns, they wouldn't have the roster they have now with a better than average line and all the weapons that he has to throw to, let alone the defense that's absolutely stacked in Houston now. Well, the same thing with the Packers. They didn't pick Jordan Love first overall. They picked him at the end of the first round. Now, Pat Mahomes is a different story because he signed his extension, but the same thing. He wasn't picked first overall. He sat behind Alex Smith, and he learned, and then he got a shot, and he capitalized. But they weren't a scrub team. Now, Pat Mahomes is a whole different ballpark to be talking about because Pat Mahomes is special. He's generational. He is truly the best quarterback of this current time frame. Now go back to Tom Brady, and he overlapped with him. But right now, with where we stand now, Pat Mahomes is clear and obviously number 1. But you look at all these guys, and if you build around the team, it's always more successful. So in my opinion, what really makes a team successful is finding a really good quarterback, which the Bears can absolutely do at number 2 and number 3, but stacking the team around them, which they've been doing. The additions of Keenan Allen, additions of DJ Moore, additions of Montez Sweat, all the additions that we're currently making right now show that we're building the team the right way. Now, can we win with Caleb Williams? Absolutely. 100% believe it. 100% believe we will make it to the playoffs. I do not believe Caleb Williams is a Pat Mahomes prototype. I don't think he's the type to take us to the Super Bowl without a stacked team, and we're not deep right now. So no, I don't believe Caleb Williams is the answer. I believe he could be part of the answer, and maybe next year is what I just need to be patient for because we have a first, 2 seconds, a third, a fourth, maybe 2 fourths, a fifth, 2 sixths, maybe an additional third from Ian Cunningham being hired away. Maybe I just need to be patient for next year. But I really see the potential of this year's trade down. I really see what could happen if the Bears pull the trigger on something like this and end up with something like this. I would be elated. More so than having Caleb Williams. And I know that doesn't go along with the narrative of what everybody else wants and what everybody else is thinking. I get it. I'm on an island, guys. Doesn't mean I'm wrong. It doesn't mean just because Justin Fields was traded doesn't mean I was wrong about Justin Fields. I'm going to stay on this island because I'm not going to sit and go into this groupthink. I'm not going to become a lemming. I'm going to show reasons and basis for what I think and feel. This is the reason for what I think and feel. Will I be pissed off if we take Caleb Williams? No. He's the third or fourth best quarterback prospect to come out in the last 5 years. I'm not going to be upset for us taking a prospect and taking a leap with him. I just want the haul. That's my basis. I don't see him as a transformative, generational quarterback. I've never thought he's generational. If this was a situation where Andrew Luck was coming out, I would absolutely view this differently. I would say absolutely take Andrew Luck. This team is pretty stacked outside of that. We can take Rome Odunze and we can take other picks later on and we can take next year's draft class and we're going to be just fine. That's the difference. I don't see Caleb Williams like Andrew Luck. I don't see him like Peyton Manning. I don't see him like John Elway. That's not how I see Caleb Williams. Does it mean I hate him? No, it doesn't. I've never said I hate Caleb Williams. And you guys try to twist it and contort it and make it your agenda that I hate Caleb Williams. I don't. This is what I want, though. I want the Bears to build this way in a unique opportunity that has never been seen before, and trading down from 1-1 twice, 2 years in a row. I think it would be neat. I think it would be really fun to watch what we could pick up with all that draft capital and with everything that we're doing. If Drake May or whoever didn't work out by 2026, we should have enough draft capital that we could capitalize and still take Nico Ioselaimavia or whoever, or Arch Manning, or whichever quarterback. So this is the basis by where I am. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment. Hopefully you had a great Easter. Hopefully you guys are doing super well. Less than a month left. We're getting to the draft, guys. We're almost there. Lots of big things to come. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to keep bringing you analysis and my take on things. Hope you enjoy it. And until next time, bear down.